Hello everyone, Shadefyre here, and welcome back to Let's Play Control. This is episode 5. So last time we did what Ati asked, and we got the reactor to not explode down in maintenance. Then we activated the directorial override, so now we can actually get to the other sectors. Which I assume means we'll kind of open up the map a bit more now. But I think Emily had a few more topics.
Hi, Jesse.
Alright, so we asked about Darling's whereabouts, and I think we asked about control points.
This place has a bad habit of moving around, huh?
So you noticed the building shifts. Did you know that 39% of Bureau accidents are caused by the shifts? It's true. I ran the numbers myself.
So they're dangerous.
You would be astounded how many people have been crushed to death.
Yet one time, a shark got shifted into a meeting room along with over 2,000 gallons of water. It was a tiger shark. Darling's pet research project. I forget what he was researching.
How do people work here?
I mean, we did find a note early on about something redacted a shark.
You said you're an assistant?
Oh, it's just a title. I'm a scientist, a researcher. I work for Dr. Darling. See, when Bureau agents go out in the field, the sites of altered world events, we study the materials, the altered items they bring back. It's always something we've never seen before, and studying them requires new instruments, methodologies, sometimes entirely new fields of science.
Emily really loves her job.
See, there's no guidebook for what we do here. Everything that happens at the Bureau, including the science, is without precedent.
And apparently there's no consistency among altered world events.
What exactly is the Ocean View Motel?
That's a bigger question than you might think. You see, I have extreme doubts that the motel is a single place. I mean, look at all the doors inside it. Where do they all go? We know that one door leads to the oldest house, but how come we can only ever open that one door? Maybe to open a door, you have to have entered through it. So if every door leads to a different dimension, plane, reality, whatever you want to call it, then I believe that the motel is firm proof that parallel universes exist.
Does Darling agree with that?
But those agents left through a different door than they
I'm waiting
entered
until I can prove it.
when they first ended up there. They said they did a ritual to get a key to end up back at the oldest house.
What can you tell me about control points?
They're nexus points of the oldest house's unique energies.
Apparently we didn't ask her about this yet.
I wrote a 30-page proposal hypothesizing that we could siphon energy directly from them. Darling didn't even get through the first page before he turned it down.
Right. And, has anyone ever used them to teleport around?
What? No. What, I mean, you mean physically? No, not that I've ever heard of.
Oh, because I've been doing
Why?
that since I got here.
Because that's how they work for me.
What? Really? Oh my god. More tests.
Let's hold off on the tests until later, okay?
Let's save those for
Okay.
another chapter
It's
transition.
just, wow. This blows my control point theories right out of the water. I love it.
At least she kind of addresses most of the game mechanics in this directly. Like, yeah, this is a thing I can do.
Be careful out there.
Alright, so yeah, we got a new mission to go down to research and try to find Darling, but we also got a side mission. Major targets. Go to the NSC energy converters. Why does that have a time limit on it? Find Marshall in the research sector. Okay, so we're not going to look for Darling, but you would think he would be down in the research sector if he's anywhere. So I guess we have a side mission in maintenance to just kill enemies? Is that just like a live game event?
The power plant brings up a lot of new questions. Are they communicating? Coordinating? What about the plant attracted them?
The power plant is largely confidential. No use guessing the hiss's motives if we don't even know what kind of energy it uses.
What do you mean? It has to be a fusion reactor. There's no other way to create that kind of energy output, right?
I mean, Ati mentioned some kind of grumpy tree creature inside of the reactor, so I'm sure we'll find out. Okay, we got 4 ability points, so I guess we can buff up our energy, since I'm starting to get more abilities now that use it. And can we craft anything? Weapon forms. Okay, we can't upgrade grip. I forgot we got spin last time as well. So we haven't actually tried that out yet. I could upgrade mods so that we'll start getting better ones in here. But that is going to cost most of my source, which requires me to kill more enemies. Okay, we're good on challenges. Let's switch the tactical response for now. I don't know if you actually get more outfits throughout the game, or if those are just like DLC and unlockables. Alright, we've gone a little more practical here, now that we've been here for a while. What's that guy doing up there? Alright, so can we equip? Okay, we have grip and shatter right now. Let's try switching out grip for spin. Energy gain from headshots, accuracy, ammo cost per shot. Feel like that would be better for spin. Shatter, damage boost. Maybe just damage boost?
A lot of these questions can be answered by obtaining a live specimen.
My gun sort of just vanished out of my hand. We also do have better clearance now, so there might be some areas on this floor we could open, but I don't think anything significant is going to be in them. Probably just more crafting materials. Alright, actually, I was going to take the elevator, but we could just take the control point down to maintenance, take care of whatever that objective is they gave me. NSC energy converters. So yeah, I think we'll just knock this challenge out or whatever it is, and then we'll head down to research. Alright, so this is spin, which looks pretty cool. And it is pretty much a machine gun, like I assume. Maybe we'll get like a fire ability to get rid of this stuff later. Okay, so let's switch our mission to whatever this is. And then try to find it on the map, which is this way. I also... Ooh, hello. I was gonna say, I also disabled motion blur, because that's not even an option in the options, but I just realized how much smoother it looks when you turn now. Switch to shatter. Yeah, so these are all... Oop. These are all agents. Or named agents. He had a health symbol, so I'm wondering if something is healing him in here. Oop. Check out this guy. Just standing here shooting me while I'm trying to avoid the other guy. Oh. That was the RPG demolitions rockets. So yeah, that was some pretty tough enemies, but that seems to be what those alerts are. I still don't have a good long-ranged way to deal with strong enemies like that. Alright, yeah, so that's gone now.
So much is expected from the director. The responsibility, the privilege to steer the Bureau into dangerous waters and safely out again. To inspire and lead its people, to protect them. The board is there to advise you, but they want things in return. You hold all this in your old trembling hands.
Though it's a little hard to tell what they
I
want.
had to lose everything before I could see the Bureau is the director's life. There's no room for anything else.
You
If
are the
forces
living
contained
embodiment
here escaped,
of the Bureau.
we'd be dragged back into an age of superstition, terror, death. Assuming you think we ever really left that behind. Any emergency, any major containment breach, and the lockdown goes into effect. I implemented this security measure in my first years as director. I knew we were vulnerable. I'd personally seen the cost of sloppiness. I made sure the internal lockdown could only be lifted by a directorial override, only to be used when the director is confident the sectors are safe to be opened again. This way, the director is the last line of defense.
And if something happens to them,
If I screw
we're shit out of luck.
it's on me, and me alone.
So, did the Hiss attack the Bureau so that they could get into the Astral Plane, and therefore corrupt multiple realities? Alright, well, I guess now we'll just travel back to... I was going to travel just to the entrance here, but Central Executive, the elevator's right there. I mean, they keep talking about the dangers we have contained here, but we haven't really seen anything too dangerous yet. Then again, we haven't exactly been in the containment sectors. All we've seen is a teleporting carousel horse and a floppy disk. Alright, so let's go to research sector, maintenance sector access corridor. I wonder if that's separate from maintenance or if that's just where we entered. There's also the containment sector. There we go. Bet we'll see some interesting stuff down there. But there should also be some things they're experimenting on in the research sector, including probably a new power. Alright, unsurprisingly, there is more floating people here.
Welcome to the research sector of the Federal Bureau of Control. I'm Dr. Casper Darling, head of research. Somebody thought this video would make for great internal communications. I'm looking at you, Mr. Tomasi. So, this is where the magic happens. Anyway, I've been here for 24 years now. I've always been here.
I mean, Darling does seem to be
Years, we've made
unfailingly
astonishing
enthusiastic.
discoveries, authored studies of grave importance, and in all this work, there is one thing we know, and that's how little we truly know. Rest assured, we're committed to keep pushing the known laws and borders of reality, and to make the Bureau proud. So, welcome. Assuming you have the necessary clearance, and do follow the safety protocols. Read the manual.
I wrote it myself.
Otherwise, bad things will happen.
It looks like we do actually have other tapes from Darling. Apparently I missed most of this stuff when it popped up originally. Okay, this one
Just
we
look
have
at it.
seen.
8 inches wide and capable of storage.
That was the one we saw on a TV.
Objects of power can cause or be results of.
I feel like we didn't see this one.
Altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. A side note, remember to cover their connection to the astral plane as well. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one.
Okay, so we did see part of this when we first got the service
Ingrained in
weapon.
the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program.
I think it started like right there where he said
You're it.
it's a key
Lose, and
example.
you're, well, fired. Thank you. I'm Dr. Darling, head of research, Federal Bureau of Control.
Was that part of the service weapon? Okay, these are just the tapes we picked up. Threshold kids. His trooper. Okay, these are the Gatling gun guys that we ran into one of. Troopers are meant to be the first agents to enter unknown AWEs, thresholds, or any other paranaturally hazardous situation. They are heavily armored and heavily armed in the preparation for the worst. As a result of their role, HISS troopers have access to the heaviest armor and weaponry from the Bureau's armory, including military-grade chain guns and grenade launchers. In addition to their already formidable FBC-issued armor, the HISS resonance surrounding these entities is dense enough to stop bullets. If forced to engage one of these, be sure to make use of any available cover. Also note that, to telekinetically talented, enemy grenades can be a welcome source of ammunition. Toss them back. Alright, so we are still a little shifted here, and the ritual division is blocked off. Okay, we actually can go in there once we find the control point.
Anyway, I've been here for 24 years now.
A couple of you floating folks. Yep, just pull up the floor. It is nice that there seems to be always something you can grab, even if it's just the walls. This is a very tall area. Oh. Not the best long-range weapon. Nope. I don't know what this searchlight is, but I don't like it. I think these guys are new. Balls. I forgot to use my dash. Okay, got a named one here. Ooh, that was almost all of my health with that rocket. I mean, maybe it wasn't the best idea to replace grip with an inaccurate machine gun. Well, you're not done yet. There we go. Just endless rockets coming up those stairs. I do forget to use my dash to get away from rockets, though. It's like sometimes I forget that I have more than just a gun. Alright, so that's not an easy fight. There's a lot of enemies there. I suppose I can just switch this on the fly. So it's not really a big deal to swap between weapons. Plant compliant. Hey, so I was just wondering about the plants in research. Is it really necessary to sing to them? I mean, that janitor does have a nice voice, and the plants sure seem to like it. Maybe he could just switch it up a bit? I'm getting pretty tired of the tango. And where did these plants even come from? No one seems to remember when they were planted. People like them a bit too much, if you ask me. Are we being invaded by houseplants? Worth looking into. The plants came with the building. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Ati came with the building. He seems like he is whatever the humanoid equivalent of a altered world event is. So that's where we want to go. Don't mind me, guys. Synchronicity. A glimpse into the paranatural synchronicity and the unseen connections. Synchronicity is a phenomenon long recognized by the wise but only recently given a name by science. It is how we rationalize events connected by no identifiable causality, yet clearly conjoined in purpose. How does a dream foretell an event in the physical plane? Why do hounds bail at the death of their master, which has occurred miles away? The world is unified in ways we do not yet understand, and sometimes we stumble across these invisible, unseen chords and wonder at the results. The visionary Carl Jung laid the road, now we must walk it. My fledgling research department will make it our mission to reliably reproduce redacted behavior by the close of 1959. Once done, the mechanics of synchronicity will lay themselves bare in due time. We are striding into the future of science. History may not remember our names, but God himself will. Also, this is just a random thing, but while I was editing the first episode, there is a bald figure that appears right before Trench seemingly shoots himself with the number P06 on his shirt. And Emily did mention something about a P06 being one of their prime candidates who may be Jesse's brother. So that might have been him right there. I almost just threw that at that lady thinking she was a floating one. I mean, she is a floating lady, but not a floating hiss. She's kind of also a floating hiss. She's not an active hiss trying to kill me. Material, intrusive pattern. They did mention that these guys will also charge at you, not just throw stuff. So that's what those two were doing. But this is another example of the way this game has some pretty good destructibility to the environment. Like, this concrete is just flying apart as they fire rockets. I heard another... Oh. Not exactly a sniper rifle. So I have to guess we get a form like that eventually. Oh, there's even more of them up here. Not that running away from a fight really does me any good, because my health doesn't regenerate. I have to kill to get my health back. Alright, are they slowly making their way up here? No, they're content to defend that corner. Dimensional Research has a very odd-looking area on the map. Dr. Darling's office. Astral Plane Counter-Essay. Alternative perspective, objects of power and their astral connections. Dr. Darling is insistent that certain objects of power share a direct connection to the redacted, an entity or a group of entities that we have little information on, or little that I am allowed to access, so that would be probably the board. In his written reports, he states that there is a clear link between these objects of power, the board, the astral plane, and the oldest house itself. His work supposes these links are innate, a fact ingrained in the very redacted of objects such as the hotline or the service weapon. But what if these particular objects were never linked to the board but had that connection forced upon them? Isn't it strange that no other objects of power require such direct contact with the board? Isn't it strange that using the service weapon or the hotline will result in grievous harm, or even death if the user is not the director, or at least worthy of the role? Why do we assume this involvement by the board is a natural fact and not something more redacted? Darling, budget request. Dear Dr. Darling, I suspect my colleague, Dr. Harrington, has already contacted you asking for an increase in her department's budget. I'm not surprised. Parapsychology has always been the squeaky wheel, all fuss but no results. Parakinesiology has always been the stronger department, more breakthroughs, more tangible data, more usable research. I'm sure a man of your esteem can plainly see which department is more deserving of the budget increase. Just think of what those additional resources could do for an already formidable research team. Anyway, I know you're a fan of single malts, so I left a bottle of well-aged brown on your desk. Yours in admiration, Dr. Abraham Lewis. Of course, there still has to be interdepartmental drama. Oh, I thought that was just floating as well. Suppose we shouldn't be surprised there's so much notes in his office. Examination of paranatural topics, the astral plane, and objects of power. The Bureau has spent years studying why objects of power transport users into the astral plane when touched. My predecessor, Dr. Ash, theorized that a potential receptacle, determined by Jungian archetypes in the collective subconscious, would be inhabited by paranatural energies when an AWE occurred in its vicinity. Creating an altered item, over time, a link was created by the blank and the astral plane to the item, making it an object of power. So the difference there is that an object of power can be bound to a person, whereas an altered item cannot. So many additional theories have been raised since Dr. Ash's time. Objects of power were placed on Earth as tests by some astral entity. Our dimension was once part of the astral plane, and the objects were left behind as its borders receded. The astral plane was an early threshold into the oldest house, but the connection was severed, and now the two are linked solely through objects of power. I will attempt to disprove some of these in order to thin the herd. Hopefully, the truth will emerge. And that was what Darling was counter-refuting with his essay. Thought something unusual would happen if I stopped it. Alright, last one. Resonance theory. The utilization of paranatural elements, resonance, confidential. Resonance. It's there, but we can't see it. It vibrates around us, through us, from us. But what if the vibration is conscious? What could a force like that do? Redacted opened the door to a redacted I've called the redacted. The redacted emits a force that is far beyond the forces we've previously dealt with. It has shown me so much that I have to wonder. Is resonance the key element in all altered phenomena? AWEs, altered items, objects of power, do they share a common redacted that we've yet to discover? We can harmonize control points. What else would the correct frequency allow us to achieve? What if resonance has been the answer this whole time? So I wonder if that first redacted thing there is the slide projector. Because I assume that slide projector is going to be pretty important at some point. The same one that Jesse here experienced as a child that opens doors to other places, windows to other realities. And I'm still thinking the hiss might have actually come directly out of that. that Darling was encountering something like it in there, and that's how he knew to make the HLAs. Okay, I got most of my health back. Those do track you, though, so you have to wait till they're close to dodge them. Having 3 of these guys is a pain, though, because they can just kind of take turns firing rockets at me. Okay, is that everybody on this floor? Still hearing them spawn, but I didn't see any up there. This also seems to be running a lot better since I did the NVIDIA update, because there was, you know, a specific increased performance and control update. Like, I feel like I can't stay down here because they just keep spawning, so I have to get my distance after I kill them. Distance does let them get their rockets off, but also gives me time to dodge them. There we go. Just stun lock him. Hiss Sniper. Bureau snipers specialize in eliminating threats from a distance, using the telltale searchlights affixed to their rifles to search for targets. Hiss snipers are no less lethal. The corruption has not changed their tactics. They clearly prefer to maintain a good distance from their target, waiting in elevated positions for a clear shot. Care should be taken in open spaces. Check the balconies. I should note that their rifles are equipped with a bayonet for close-quarter combat, and the Hiss snipers are well aware of how to use it. Alright, so those are just the regular searchlight enemies we saw. But that guy also had one. Pierce Zoom Boost. Alright. That makes me think that Pierce is going to be the sniper rifle type. Okay, so these are the Hiss field generators that we read about way back. We have to destroy all of them in order to open up this door. And I guess they regenerate if you don't get them all. What do we have hiding back here? Crafting supplies. Astral Blip. We keep finding new types of crafting materials. Also, this chair that I wedged in the glass. Or, that's not a chair, that's a, I forget what those are called. Things for measuring the position of the stars. So we have a lot of floors open to us here. Do we have a target? No, we're just supposed to be looking for... What's her name? Or his name. Marshall. I think Marshall was a lady. Good thing somebody's been vacuuming down here. Black rock powder deployment unit. Okay, that's not a vacuum. It sprays black rock powder. We still don't know what black rock is, but I'm assuming it's some kind of supernatural property material, since it seems to be what the NSC is powered by. I do always like these plant walls. Oh. Got another spore zone. Can I wonder if I can get through here without touching the ground. Seems like I could land there and then jump to there. See, I don't know if this is supposed to be like a platforming challenge or just a don't go here yet. Also, very slow taps. Could I get down there by just kind of jumping back and forth? Whoop. Okay, how do I get up there? No, whatever this plant stuff is. Okay, this seems to be burned, so maybe this is the destroyed version of the mold. Can I jump around this corner? How much air control do you have, Jesse? She did step on the camera, which is what I would do if I had to get around a corner like that. Does look like there was a battle fought here. Threshold utility. Utilization of paranatural elements thresholds. Thresholds have always been sources of great inspiration and great challenge. When a new threshold manifests in the oldest house by Redacted, we never know what new discoveries it will provide to the Bureau, but we must always seize these opportunities. This report will examine the process of distinguishing recent threshold effects based on the utilitarian possibilities. The quarry brought black rock, one of our most invaluable discoveries, but if the mold has any scientific value, it has been difficult to find due to the lengths we must go in fighting back the particular prolific plant. These are very distinct cases, and worth comparing as their study offers vastly different dangers and rewards. So yeah, thresholds are just seemingly doorways into other dimensions or realities, or just places. And I guess they just open sometimes. For who among us has touched the foundations of this world and deemed them solid? Dr. Theodore Ashe. Gotta check the bathrooms. Well, they got a much bigger bathroom in research than they do anywhere else. Presumably because they have a much bigger number of staff in research. Sadly, I can't rip the toilet out of the ground, but I can destroy the stalls. So this toilet is very jiggly. It doesn't seem to really be attached. I don't think there's anything in here. Nope. Something in there. Somebody hid this intrusive pattern in a bathroom. Oh. Phase right through this door. That's definitely a little paranatural. Can't find your office? Watch your step. Don't read confidential correspondence. It's not just rude, it's illegal. Do as you're told. Don't eat mold. Even the smallest amount of mold can cause serious harm. Contact security immediately. Do they mean like on your food? I assume people are not just scooping up the mold when it appears. Hubert, Black Rock Analysis. Hi, Carla. Does it strike you as odd that Darling insists on having us appear in those bizarre videos of his? I mean, we just stand there. He doesn't even let us have lines or anything. Don't get me wrong, beats a day in the lab. Plus, it's always great to work with you. Oh yeah, I finished the comparative analysis of the 2 black rock samples you sent. The prism, or whatever you called it. I filed them in the usual place under C for Carla. A handy mnemonic device, right? Anyway, let me know if there's anything you want to discuss about the data. I'll gladly explain. Maybe we could chat about it over some drinks or dinner even. I can't remember the last time I had a good steak. Maybe we could go together after work sometime. I'm free tomorrow. All the very best, Hubert. I guess that's the guy who looks kind of awkward in the videos. Like, are you filming me? Parapsychology, Dr. Darling's office, dimensional research, cafeteria. I guess we're looking for the HLA production. Oh, great. More enemies. They spawned in the mold. What was that? Oh, geez. That's new. I suppose I was just hanging around too long, and that's why they respawn. Night, the world is mine. With nobody else out here. It's time. Run wild and... royally cavalier? Is this just song lyrics? I can't tell. I'm not reading the whole thing. Song questionnaire. Okay, so there is another Poets of the Fall song in here, who are, I guess, good buddies with Remedy, because there was a lot of their music in Alan Wake. And they were also the ones that did the music for the fake band Old Gods of Asgard in Alan Wake, so they had like doubly their music in there. Auditory experience 84C, Poets of the Fall, My Dark Disquiet. Answer questions within 2 minutes of listening. Did the song elicit any particular memories? If so, elaborate. Did you at any point feel a strong emotion? If so, what emotion? Did a clear image of a weapon appear at your mind during the song? If so, elaborate. Provide a detailed description of your current surroundings as you see them. Have you ever heard the murmur of voices when no one is present? If so, what did they say? Do you hear them now? Please choose from one of the following pairs. 1 or 2. A or B. Day or night. Apple or orange. Burn out or fade away. Better to burn out than to fade away. I'll have to listen to that later because that will probably get claimed, and I do like Poets of the Fall, from what I know other stuff. Oh, you guys are still here. I mean, it would be nice if enemies didn't just respawn while you're exploring. Take a seat. That would have gone better if I didn't forget what the melee button was for a second. Okay. I think we've checked everything down here now. Let's just go through the door we opened. We can check the rest later. Hiss nodes and executive.
She's in trouble. I need to reach her.
I need to reach her, but the building's all shifty. Gotta find the control point. Probably didn't need to do that, but it's fancier when I do. Okay, so there's a control point in here? No? I think it's under there. I mean, I'm killing them pretty quickly here, even as they're respawning around me. Anyone else? Wow, that was actually a pretty effective fight. I feel like I really cleared through them. Emergency call supplement. Transcript of a call to the California State Emergency Service. Dispatcher. 911, what is your emergency? Hello. I'm here. Can you hear me? I can hear you, ma'am. Where are you? I'm, inside the wires? I'm lost. Ma'am, have you been drinking tonight? I feel like I'm stretching through the wire towards you. Don't hang up. I might go if you hang up. Go where, ma'am? Go. Gone. Away. Okay, and can you describe your surroundings? Ma'am? Hello? Ma'am? Dispatcher attempted to call the number back, but it was no longer in service. Sucked into the phone. Okay. So, all of these test chambers seem to be blocked off. Mannequins, balls. I wonder what's going on in some of these. Okay, this appears to be a dead-end room, though. Or at least, not a dead end, but it only goes one way. Astral Exhibition. The Astral Exhibition was originally built for the astronauts to use as a training location, a place to grow accustomed to the sights and sounds of the astral plane before diving into the real thing. We could have done a better job with it, but Redacted was being stingy with the budget. However, once we discovered the Redacted, we decided to repurpose the space. Similar to how zoos hope familiar surroundings will affect the well-being of their animals, we hope to observe the Redacted behavior in an environment similar to its home dimension. So far, it just breaks everything we put in with it. But Rome wasn't built in a day. New naming conventions have been established for the astral entity now known as Astral Spike. Outdated terms in this report have been redacted. I assume that might be the kind of tornado-y thing we saw before when we got the horse.
The Astral Plane. Similar to an iceberg, what you see is not what you always get. Regardless, this place is vitally important to the Bureau. Most information on the Astral Plane is classified, but we can talk in broad strokes, keeping in mind that these are staggeringly complex systems, and simplification does them no justice. Now, the white non-space, the ever-present inverted black pyramid, the board, all linked, intrinsically tied to the oldest house, tied to the director, the process of choosing a director, tied to all objects of power in terms of who controls them. Yes.
Yes. So pretty much the board does control the Bureau. What exactly are we looking at here? A recreation of what your average space in the astral plane looks like.
An early hypothesis was that the mindscape of the astral plane is subjective. But that was fast proven wrong. It's an actual place, not a construct of the mind, even though it is with our minds that we enter and experience it. But then one could argue that that's the case with all reality. We've been able to record footage of the astral plane by monitoring the brain activity of those experiencing it. That is the only concrete material that has come out of the astral plane expeditions. Apart from one shocking exception.
But we don't talk about that.
In the astral plane footage, we're always in the vicinity of the pyramid. We've concluded that this, not the entire plane, is what the board controls. We have glimpsed movement, native species, always in the distance, and yet contact was made. We don't have footage of this, a technical malfunction, but when one of our astronauts returned, a brain cloud, an astral fugue, had hitchhiked a ride in his head. It ruptured out, killing the subject in question. It's a relentless predator, pursuing thoughts, minds, lethal to those the entity feeds on. Proper containment protocols are to be observed when dealing with it.
Alright, so I'm pretty sure that thing's gonna be roaming loose. No. Polaris is pointing something out, but it's through a wall.
I can't believe they keep that thing here.
Is that the sound of a containment breach? Because it sounds like a containment breach. Hello, yes, I'm here to secure, contain, and protect. Yep, this is just like its natural environment. Okay, well, we have a room here. Or a door, rather. So presumably we just have to shut it in, but we need to power up the door first. What keeps it from just getting out that hallway? Okay, I need to grab the battery. So I need to lure it into the hallway and then, or into the room and then run down the hallway and hit the button. Come on, buddy. I mean, we already know that you can't really hurt this thing.
The Bureau doing with that thing?
I mean, we did see the presentation. They didn't bring it back on purpose. It exploded out of somebody's head. So I guess we did need to cut through there.
Back up down here.
Marshall, are you still there? Shit. We're so close. We need to hurry.
Gotta rescue Marshall before she dies. Look at that whole other section of Redacted. Still don't really know what that orb is. We didn't get a document about it yet. Or at least I didn't see the pop-up for it. who's shooting at me. Those floating chair people are also new. Can't really get a shot from down here. You definitely do have an iframe section of your teleport. Because if you teleport right as the rocket's about to hit you, you don't even get hit by splash damage. He's got grenades. I'm not sure where I can grab the grenades. It seems you can't grab them out of the air. What? It was kind of stuck on him, and then I guess it just killed him because it was stuck in him. Alright. That's everybody dead here. And a control point. Took us a while to find a control point.
We've encountered heavy resistance. We've fallen back to the luck department. All agents are ordered to converge here.
The luck department, huh? There's a lot of notes here. But I think we're gonna wrap up here in a moment. Oh. Looks like my mods are full. I'll have to get rid of some of the shitty ones. But let's enter the intercom first.
Marshall, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Who is this?
My name is Jesse Faden. I'm coming to help.
Faden. Hold on. I'm setting the elevator for you. We need to talk.
Yeah, I'm the new director. I don't know if you know that yet. Oh, good. Triggering another fight. I thought those were spiders for a second. I think the folks in gas masks are just the normal security guards down here. It's just a more dangerous department. What's going on there? Anyhow, that'll do it for episode 5 of Let's Play Control. We are, again, making good progress. You know, we're seeing new stuff every time. So I have a good feeling about how the pace of this LP is going to go. But I suppose that depends how much backtracking and fetch questing we get thrown with later on. Anyhow, I've been Shadefyre, and I hope you'll join me as we find out what's going on with Marshall and the HLAs next time. Take care, everyone.